Hello, great people. Nasir El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State, has announced his defection from the ruling All Progressive Congress to the Social Democratic Party, SDP. On this episode of Politics with Dr. Omosoladeji, we'll be looking at why did El-Rufai decamp to SDP at this present point in time. What is the game that El-Rufai is trying to play? We'll be exposing this, and also how will this move by El-Rufai affect the 2027 candidacy and eventual emergence of Bola Tinubu? What is the Obi factor? What is the Atiku factor in all of this? How will El-Rufai's action influence the politics of 2027? We'll be dissecting this and a whole lot more on this episode of Politics with Dr. Omosoladeji. First, I can tell you that, you see, the Nigerian political space now, things are happening very fast, so very fast that you would think that the 2027 election is just 3 months away, but you would know that the 2027 presidential election is still far away. So the political actors, they are permutating hard among themselves, and at the end of the day, they are trying to see what they can come up with to dislodge the Bola Tinubu presidency. Now, let me tell you one thing, which is very important. And that thing is that Nasir El-Rufai is in transit. Nasir El-Rufai is currently in transit. What do I mean by that? You know, when you are going to a journey, some of us that have had opportunity to travel by air before, if you are going to a country and you didn't take direct flight and you decide to go in transit, you know, so you will have a stopover. What Nasir El-Rufai did to me appears to him being at a stopover at the moment, because before he decamped, the night before, he was spending it with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, whereby they break their fasting. He was with Atiku Abubakar. So you want to imagine that you want to cross over to Social Democratic Party rather than for you to be with the stalwart of SDP. The night before, you were with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. And that is where the Atiku factor comes in. There seems to be a game that Atiku is playing. And that is where it brings in the wicked factor, because there is allegedly talks between Atiku, Peter Obi, and Nasir El-Rufai for 2027. But then, right now, El-Rufai seems to be in transit. And the reason is that, if you look at it, El-Rufai is wise. He's a very wise guy. He knows that SDP has no structure. So El-Rufai cannot stay in SDP. And it is a matter of public knowledge that El-Rufai has presidential ambition. You remember when he appeared on Horizon, where he said, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, is witch-hunting him because he sees him as a threat to his presidential ambition in 2031. So El-Rufai is being seen as one of the presidential political figures in the north. And Nasir El-Rufai knows that he cannot win a presidential election under SDP. So why is Nasir El-Rufai in SDP? It will be for two grounds. It's either he is in transit to the PDP, or he has decamped to the SDP to go and water the ground, to go and put structures and modalities in place for the eventual joining of the political stalwart from the PDP to the SDP because of the Wike factor. You know, Wike will not leave the PDP alone. He will make trouble till 2027. When Wike will stop making trouble is when Bola Tinubu emerges as president. So, and some of them knows this. And maybe Nasir El-Rufai has now gone ahead to the SDP to decide to go and water the ground, to put modalities in place. So it's either Nasir El-Rufai is in transit to the PDP, or he has gone there to kind of like make the place comfortable, put structures and machineries in place for the welcoming of other political stalwarts, and not only from the PDP, but also from the Labour Party as well. You will recall that Peter Obi too has been having some issues in the Labour Party. The chairman of the party is not in good terms with him, and they are saying that no automatic ticket for Peter Obi in 2027. And the truth is that whether anybody likes it or not, Obi has decided that he is going to contest in 2027 because he has a good show in 2023 presidential election. So why would El-Rufai want to be on transit and not direct journey? That's one thing we must look at. Why would you want to be on transit? Well, the truth is that El-Rufai knows that if he goes to the PDP at this point in time, all hell in the APC will be let loose against him. El-Rufai knows that the major party that APC takes seriously in Nigeria is the PDP. the major party that they take serious is the People's Democratic Party. They take Peter Obi seriously, but they don't take his party seriously because his party does not have structure and he has not bring out a good show in future elections. So they know that it is Peter Obi's brand, it is Peter Obi's image that is, flourishing the Labour Party itself. And let us look at something. Why would El-Rufai naturally decide to, exit the APC at this point in time? One of the things may be the fear of suspension, because if you look at it, El-Rufai has been involved in anti-party activities lately. He was seen with the Social Democratic Party national chairman. He was also seen in the house of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. So there may be moves in the APC to suspend him, and there's no way as a former governor that he won't have his loyalists as well in the APC. So if he has gotten the win of his suspension, El-Rufai might just decide to leave the APC for them. Now I'll give you an example in that regard, and that is the case of the former president Olusegun Obasanjo. You will recall that when Jonathan was playing games against Olusegun Obasanjo, before they would make a move to suspend him and disgrace him out of the PDP, Obasanjo tore his PDP card, which is like a big blow to the PDP at that point in time. So El-Rufai might decide to exit the APC so that it will be, in his record that he left the APC, not that the APC sacked him. So that itself keep his political profile intact. But the truth is that El-Rufai leaving the APC may eventually come with political consequence, especially if the APC begins to seize his move as a major threat to the presidency of Bola Tinubu. But one thing we need to ask ourselves is, will Tinubu feel it? Will he feel it? The exit of Nasir El-Rufai? Well, I can tell you for free that Tinubu will feel it, because El-Rufai is cunning. El-Rufai has this diabolical nature. El-Rufai knows how to kneel down, how to prostrate, he knows how to package himself. He has this cunning character, and those kind of people are very dangerous politically, in the sense that they don't mind prostrating for you. If they need your vote, if they need your support, if they need your alliance, they can afford to do anything. But once they get that particular support and what they are looking for, they can now turn out to be a different thing entirely. So when somebody like Nasir El-Rufai whose cunningness, whose political diabolicalism helped Bola Tinubu in 2023, then if he leaves, definitely Bola Tinubu will feel it. But the gap that has been filled for Bola Tinubu in that regard is that he is the president of Nigeria. So he, as an incumbent president, he has some powers that he can use to fill the gap of El-Rufai. For instance, he will be the one to appoint INEC chairman that will superintend over the election. He will be the one to appoint the Inspector General of Police. He is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. So that alone fills the gap for the absence of Nasir El-Rufai in the 2027 presidential election. But one thing that we must know is that at the end of the day, Tinubu may decide to stop Nasir El-Rufai before 2027. And that is how it will happen. Before 2027, if Bola Tinubu is seeing Nasir El-Rufai as a major political threat, don't forget that the governor of Kaduna State is not in the good books of Nasir El-Rufai. They are not political friends at the moment. And the governor of Kaduna State is tilting towards the Tinubu camp, just as it happened in Kano State when Ganduje, who was installed by the former governor, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, was tilting towards the Buhari camp at that point in time when Kwankwaso lost the APC presidential ticket. In this instance, if they are seeing El-Rufai as a threat, they will use his governor to tame him down, in the sense that there are corruption investigations, corruption allegations against Nasir El-Rufai, and some of his loyalists are already in court. Some of them, are in incarceration already. So the more they see Nasir El-Rufai as a threat, the more they will close in on him, the more the Tinubu boys will want to use the apparatus, the machinery, the apparatus of state to witch hunt and clamp him down. But one thing that we need to look at is that what will Nasir El-Rufai use to campaign against Bola Tinubu in 2027? Don't forget that Nasir El-Rufai was one of the people that sold Bola Ahmed Tinubu to Nigerians. So will his case be like that of Daniel Bwala, where he called Bola Ahmed Tinubu a drug baron, only for him to change his whole statement later on? Will Nasir El-Rufai now speak bad of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu that he worked so hard to install in 2023? Now, let us now look at something, which is that in all of this, we must not forget the role of Nigerians, which is what I can say in a nutshell is don't be a gullible Nigerian, because it has shown that politicians only act mainly for their interest. But it's sure that 2027 will be an interesting year. May God spare our life to see how events unfold. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politin with Dr. Omoshola Deji. Do want to subscribe, turn on your notification button, tell who needs to know that this is the channel to be. Till I see you again, always remember that I love you all sincerely.